Greetings and salutations. My name is Vonnie McMillan, and my t-shirt tale is Black Girl Magic. The reason I started Black Girl Magic was because of where I'm from. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. I moved to New York from Atlanta, Georgia almost 3 years ago. Coming out of Kansas City is extremely racist and prejudiced. So being a Black woman there, I literally had three options. Either I was going to be in jail, working in a call center for the rest of my life, or dead. And with that, I just knew I wanted more, and I just felt like we were so invisible as human beings, especially just being a Black woman. My main message was just to get across that you have to see me. These letters on a t-shirt or from the neon colors of my hats and sweatshirts, you can't miss me now. And if I'm wearing this, this is what I'm saying I really believe, and I believe I'm that magical. You can't deny me. You're gonna put some respect with a K on my name. I started Black Girl Magic in Atlanta in 2016. I literally launched my first t-shirt the day after Beyonce was the headliner for the Super Bowl. And it was perfect. It was like on time because she had the whole Black Panther theme that year. For the Super Bowl, and the next day I announced that I was releasing this t-shirt that said Black Girl Magic. I went to the University of Missouri Columbia for fashion business and design. I didn't kind of really like going there, so I basically left and started going to the community college for fashion design back at home, and I had got to a crossroads where my brand at the time, which was called Milkshake, was picking up so much wave in the Midwest that I was on fashion shows in Chicago, all up and through Missouri, going down to Atlanta. So I had to pick. Either I'm going to take this little wave I have right now, or I'm going to finish school. And of course my mom was not happy about it, but I picked my wave, which helped me lead me down to Atlanta. And when I got to Atlanta, I was 24, turning 25. No one would take my designs for submission for editorial or anything, because in Atlanta, the way they wanted to, their protocol was it had to come through a stylist. And I knew nothing about styling. And so I just started lying and started saying I was a stylist. I was like, I got cool enough style, we'll figure this out, but I need my clothes to be in one of these magazines. It needs to be in somebody's conversation. And in the same mix, there was a designer, a Black male designer. His name is Michael Knight, and he was on Project Runway. He had made it to the top all the way to New York Fashion Week, and he was a designer out of Atlanta, and I just thought he was the best thing ever happening. And so I made it my mission to find Michael, like almost borderline stalking. And by the grace of God, I got to be his apprentice and his assistant for 5 years. And he died October 17th, and I found out I was pregnant October 22nd. So fast forward, still with my Black Girl Magic, my son's name is Knight. And I bring all that up to say Michael literally taught me everything from designing to styling, because I had no experience with styling. He used to style Jagged Edge. He would make their clothes. Sherry Shepherd was one of his main clients. Everybody had a dress, a beautiful gown or something by Michael. He was just amazing. And he literally started teaching me, okay, if you're gonna do this, you show up to set looking like you already own $1 billion line, and you style like this, and you pin like this, and you come with your hangers like this. He was spoon feeding me for life. And it was such a blessing because I got to do shows with him and learn so much and get so much experience that it led me into styling like some up-and-coming magazines to then start doing work with Upscale and doing TV and film. So I got to work on 2 MTV shows, a couple of HBO, no, not HBO, a Paramount picture and a Sony picture, doing some costume assistant work, as well as styling a multitude of magazines, even a really up-and-coming black female magazine called Radiant Health Magazine. It's based in South Africa, but they sell it at Barnes & Noble. I got to style the cover, like a 6-page spread, all because he was just constantly feeding me knowledge and just grooming me for the industry. My experience with Michael and my experience in visuals led me to working at Saks Atlanta, which helped out my career tremendously. Lala Anthony, Monica, the singer, Will Packer, all these famous black people. It was a list of 14 stylists that could pull from the store. And I was doing the visuals for women's contemporary. So I'm coming with a whole different perspective of style because I grew up in the hood. So even though this is luxury, I'm bringing just straight street style. The PR people in my building were noticing that stylists were coming in the building and stealing my looks and putting them on their clients. And even to the point where they were putting them in major publications, and I'm not getting the credit for it. So I started asking around, like, does anybody know who you could pull, who you would talk to pull from the store? I want to be able to pull for my magazines. I'm trying to get more magazines, I'm trying to get my name out. I'm kind of a rookie. And they kept telling me, oh, it's this lady named Camille. Well, this lady comes down the escalator and she looks at me. I looked at her, she had on some orange Louboutin shoes, and I was like, I love your shoes. She was like, oh, thank you so much. She was like, I'm trying to be as fly as the new girl dressing the mannequins. And I was like, oh, really? That's me. She was like, oh, really? My name is Camille. And I was like, I've been looking for you. She was like, really? I've been looking for you too. I need you to style me. I'm like, I need to pull. And she was just like, oh, so you do magazines? And I was like, yeah, I do music videos and everything. I was like, what do I have to do to get on this list? I know it's like extremely hard to get on this list. She was like, you're on the list, it's done. And from that point, she started letting me pull stuff for my magazines and my editorial shoots I was doing and music videos, other things. And I went from being this no name, okay, you work with Michael Knight assistant, to who is this girl, Vonnie McMillan, who's like shutting all this stuff down. And even like other celebrity stylists were asking me how to get on the list, and I'm like, I can't tell you. Not even that I can't tell you, I don't know. My work got me on the list. Because I was living in Atlanta, the Saks Atlanta, for it to be a luxury store, majority of our customers were black women. And I would hear other black women say to other black women, like, when they were trying on stuff, or if they came in looking good, or you could just tell she was feeling herself that day. Like, girl, I see your Black Girl Magic. And I'm like, whoa. And I remember going to one of my mentors. I'm like, you ever heard of this thing called Black Girl Magic? And she was like, girl, yes. And I'm like, what is it? She was like, what? And she had a hard time trying to explain it in words because she just kept going like this and I'm like, well, just say it. And she was just like, you're Black Girl Magic. She was like, what you did to come to Atlanta is what Black Girl Magic is. Me being a single mom of 2 is Black Girl Magic. When I say what I did, I literally packed my car up with whatever would fit in my car and took $200 and left Kansas City and just never looked back. And I lived in Atlanta for 5 years. And I literally was homeless and just started from the bottom, just trying to chase my dreams of being a designer and a stylist. And so what she said to me, she was like, what you did is Black Girl Magic. Me being a single mom is Black Girl Magic. The fact that we can come in here and work at Saks, like this wasn't designed for us, but look at the building now, like all this Black Girl Magic being CEOs and just doing and powerful and great things to push on to the next generation of black women. And she was like, that's the magic and essence of us. Like, we never fail. And I was just like, that's really, really dope and really important. So Miss Camille is the same woman, not only to help me get on the list to pull from Saks for my editorials, she's the same woman that tried to give me a definition for Black Girl Magic, and the single mom out of Detroit with two sons who moved to Atlanta, and the one verifying me saying you're Black Girl Magic from moving to Kansas City to Atlanta and just trying your luck out. She's just fly. everything about her is just dope. Like, I don't have any other way to describe her. It's like when you say Camille Binder, you're like, oh yeah, she's dope. And that literally sums her up.
A love song for my mother. Gathering grateful moments along with the perfume of her courage. Daring herself to live her
My
dream.
mom is
Like
an attorney and a state rep for the state of Missouri. Barbara Ann Washington is her name. And I literally think she is the true definition of the strong black woman, or as I say, black girl magic. I've never seen this woman fail in her 51 years of life. I've been around for 31 of them. She committed murder when she was 13 years old. And she was very active in the church, straight A student, all these things. And it was an accident. And from that, she got literally shunned by our entire city. Church kicked her out, school kicked her out. Everybody just dismissed her as, now you're a murderer and that she'll never be anything in life. She was able to get an academic scholarship to the #1 journalism school in the world, which is the University of Missouri Columbia. Started going to school, then she gets pregnant with me at 19. Still trying to figure out, how do I overcome what happened at 13? Now I'm pregnant and all I want to do is be a journalist. By the grace of God, she still graduated from college on time, became a journalist, went to law school, opened up her own law firm.
Barbara, why did you become an attorney?
When I was younger, as you know, because I've known you since I was little, I got in a little trouble. I wasn't a bad kid, but sometimes God places some things in your path because only you can survive them. And I ended up in a juvenile detention facility for the summer. While I was there, I noticed that those young ladies who didn't have a lawyer, who had the public defender, which is a good lawyer, but their lives didn't go the right way. And for my family, my church home, my family could afford an attorney, and I felt like that was the only reason at the time that I was able to still go on to college, finish high school, and do the things that I felt my family and the Lord needed me to do. So I thought being an attorney and giving back to those young ladies and my community was the best way for me to use my talents.
That deserves a hand clap all by itself.
Started running for city, community chairs and boards. Started being on our Metropolitan Community College Board of Education to help make changes in education. And in the last 2.5 years, she's been a state rep for the state of Missouri. She's one of 4 black women in the House of Missouri with 162 seats. And I've just never seen this woman fail. And that was my example, especially as a single mother, what Black Girl Magic was. Because every time she got tested, she just kept pushing. And when I think about every time I wear my brand or I see somebody else with my brand, it just always brings me back to my mom. Like, because you can't fail. We can't fail. No matter what happens, we just don't fail. So my spring collection, I decided to do hats, sweatshirts, and I'm getting ready to launch the t-shirts in neon colors. Originally, I just started the brand, everything was black and white. The original t-shirt started with, it was a black t-shirt with black lettering, and basically I did that on purpose so you would have to kind of get close enough to her to see what the message said. And it was interesting when I started with those colors because I would get emails from a lot of women that, especially if they wore their apparel in the airport, the reaction they would get from other races about the message. I've even been approached with other races asking me, how can I wear this and feel comfortable? It starts a hellified conversation, which is kind of the point. I said to myself, okay, if it started that much conversation with black on black, then I came out with a white t-shirt with black lettering. I did some sorority color t-shirts. What's gonna happen when I make this even louder? And so far, it's it's bigger and the conversation's more. And started with the yellow hat, then I added an orange one, black hat with this same color. It's just in your face. And then the sweatshirts I came out with are black with the same color neon stitching on the front, and I just put it as big as I could on the back of it. And I've had, the people who have ordered them already are like, I literally had people shouting at me from down the street like, girl, I see your black girl magic. Cause you just can't miss me now. I just think it's phenomenal. It's like the more they keep feeding me with, this person stopped me and said this, whether it's positive or negative, in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's getting the conversation going. How can I make it more in somebody's face and just be more apparent? Because at this point, you don't have I'm not giving you the option to say, well, no, I didn't see you, or da-da-da, or I don't understand what it is. You see it. I can't trademark this phrase because it's almost like you can't trademark the word black girl, you know what I'm saying? But because of the font that I have and because every piece I do has my signature on it, people know when it's mine versus somebody else's. I think because I've kept this same logo, it's really starting to stick out more than the others, if that makes sense. And also, I try to really test out, because I went to school for design, I try to make sure my quality is really, really great. Like, this t-shirt is 4.5 years old. This is one of the first ones I tested out before I even sold it. It's been washed and done 1,000 times. So I've been doing some pop-ups lately with the brand, which has been really exciting. But on the flip, because New York, the black parts of New York are getting gentrified, a lot of white people have been coming to these majority black vendor pop-ups, which is not a problem. And I also feel that when other races who don't deal with the melanin stereotypes, to say, get offended by this or feel like they can't be a part of this movement. And I just want to say that's not true. For anybody who doesn't have the melanin stereotype, so if you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, Indian, any type of brown in your skin, if you don't have the melanin stereotypes that, oh, you're an angry black woman, you're an angry black man, oh, Dominican people are this. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have those melanin stereotypes, you assume as a person that's not of color that you can't be a part of this movement and you can't wear this. And I'm just trying to say.
So you're trying to say if you don't have.
If you white.
Yeah.
They assume they can't wear this or they can't be a part of this because, oh, it's only for black girls. And yes, the movement is for black girls, but let's say you wanted to, like my old boss in Atlanta is a tall 6'3" gay white guy.
So you're saying that this is to counter those negative stereotypes.
This is to counter their negative thoughts. I'm not countering the negative stereotypes, but like for instance, I have my table at the pop-up and a white person walks by. All because the message is so blunt, they automatically say, whoa, and then, like their energy is like, oh, I can't touch that or read that or whatever, and just keep going. And I'm saying to them, that's not true. I have not a good amount, but have had gay white guys buy this because they're in support of what I'm saying. That yes, black women should be seen. Yes, black women are dope. Yes, we should give more credit to them for the culture. And I had this conversation on Sunday when I was in Harlem at my pop-up. A white woman was like, well, I can't wear that. I'm the whitest of the white women. Like, if I wear that, that's basically me saying that I'm trying to be black. And I was like, no, it's saying that I support Black Girl Magic. I support what you guys are doing as black women because you're overlooked. And so I'm trying to figure out how to, I guess, get that message across when I'm trying to, when I'm at a pop-up or trying to sell stuff without them feeling offended. Because it's not for me to say, I'm Black Girl Magic, you're White Girl Magic, you're wrong. It's just saying mine, I'm giving more credit to mine because it hasn't been credited in so long. We've been swept under the rug for so many centuries. I'm just proud to say who I am right now, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'm just trying to figure out how do I get a balance not necessarily not to not offend them, but not to, so that they don't feel so unwelcome into this community of what's going on, if that makes sense. It's been, 3, almost 4 years with the brand, and I can say that I have been beyond blessed. The emails I get from women I know and don't know who wear the t-shirts, that have the coffee mugs, the cell phone cases. I've seen now it trickle into the next generation because I just wanted to test out the little girl t-shirts, seeing newborn babies with these shirts. And I'm trying to get emotional because it's like, wow. God just kind of blessed me to say something to pass on to the next young Black woman so she can go be great. And I feel like that's really what the message is, just trying to keep us encouraged, that we're enough while society is telling us, we're not. That we are more than enough for the workforce, for raising our children, for raising Black men, for keeping our families together, for just being incredible, just dope human beings. So I've had great success with the brand, and I'm just really proud of, I'm just a country girl from Kansas City. I'm in a room in New York City talking about my brand. So I'm happy in so many words. And I just think it's dope. And now I have a son, and he gets to see his mom and understand what Black Girl Magic is from his mom. And like I said, my mom, his grandmother, he doesn't have a choice but to understand a strong Black woman. Understand that you have to put respect on the Black woman's name, and we're just invincible.
Mother Earth, transform me.
What Black Girl Magic means to me now is completely different than what it meant to me when I first started the company. When I started, like I said, it was just to really give the energy to other Black women and let them know that they were important and they were great and they were powerful. Fast forward 4 years later, after moving to New York and then falling in love and now having a baby and going through postpartum and just trying to get back to my fullest self, I now realize that the Black Girl Magic that I've been pushing on everybody else is really just me. That I'm dope, that I got enough strength to get myself back to after birth. Lord, thank you God for my baby, but birth is just so hard. Just being pregnant is so hard. That I'm enough, that everything that I've been trying to push on to other Black women for all these years, I totally kind of lost it. And now I'm looking at my shirts or looking at these emails, or women are constantly telling me like, it literally is crazy. Somebody sees something like a video on social media, they'll put the hashtag and tag me in it if it's just another Black woman being dope. And so now I just realized that Black Girl Magic is Vonnie McMillan. It is this story I'm telling of how I started in a city that is so, I love my city, but it's so racist and so behind, to take this leap of faith and continue to push towards my dreams, and now be in New York City and be a mom and just trying to exemplify that me being a Black woman is the best thing you could ever be since sliced bread. Like that's the best way I can describe it now.
This is a love song for my mother. A love song for my mother. Gathering grateful moments along with the perfume of her courage, daring herself to live her dreams like a newborn screams, holding on to her babies. Holding on. This is a love song for my mother. Unaffected by pitch, space, or anything that attempts to remotely define her story. She writes in real time, you see. See?